morning, pleasant good morning, morning neighbor, morning neighbor, morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Today is Wednesday, the 9th day of February. Every 9th day of July. I was writing something about February and it's come 9th day of July, 2025. Welcome. As I said, my birth month. But not of champions. Not the earlier part of the month, the Cancer, I think it is. I'm talking about the Leo, the Lions. Welcome, one and all. Welcome. Share the live and let people know that we're on for the midweek episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Once again, we have so much to tell you. And, we always say, today is a great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It is indeed a privilege to be in the land of the living, and we should not take that for granted. So welcome, share the live. Let the others know that we are on. I see every class, we have new students. It's always good to see new students. All are welcome for this, to attend this class. And we know they attend. We know many of them they listen. Those who don't have the time to listen now, they go back and they listen. Those who are in positions, some of them, they get people to report to them what Slow and Conway said. And we must tell you that in many cases, they are doing what we recommend, what we advise. Back in the day when this program a few times passed, so of course, y'all only criticizing the police, y'all and making recommendations and so on. Every time we identify where they're going wrong, we make recommendations as to how it should be corrected every time. That is part of the program we teach. So welcome, share the live. Another great day, as I've said, that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let me remind you to subscribe to the channel on YouTube in particular. And when you subscribe, hit the notification button, and then there's a little bell. You hit the bell, you will get the notification whenever the program goes live, or if anything is posted on the channel. Also, if you are a Facebooker, follow the page, Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Follow the page. We say to you, we are into the silly season. Elections are due on the 1st of September, 2025. And therefore, you're going to get all sorts of misinformation, all sorts of propaganda, even from the police. And therefore, we encourage you to come to Speaking Out. We broadcast now 3 times a week, Monday and Wednesday at 11 Central Time, that's 11 a.m. Guyana time. And on Friday, we come in the afternoons at 4 p.m. So come, we're going to give you the credible, valuable information. And for the police, we are going to advise you. We're going to teach you what is real, proper policing. So yes, my colleague is here, Mr. Conway, sitting back, waiting as usual. And I must say, I'm pleased to say that when we checked the comms and so on a little while ago, everything was working well, because, they're doing everything to get us off, They don't want people to know the truth. They don't want people to know the truth. They're doing everything to keep us off. But we're going to persevere. We're going to come. We're going to bring you the credible, valuable information. So share the live. The program was scheduled at 7, or as we would say, the gates were open at 7, and there was a long line of students to enter the schoolyard. And having entered, then they do what children will do when they come to school early. And when the school doors were open at 11, then they all lined up and they came in orderly, very orderly. We have orderly students. We have intelligent, orderly students. So it is always a pleasure for us to do the work and to come to teach. And it is good to see when you turn out in your large numbers, as you have been doing frequently over the past months and perhaps even years. And that encourages us to go and do the work, to bring it to the information to you. And again, people are telling us how credible they find this program. And we have a responsibility to maintain our credibility. So we're not going to come and give you any half-picked duck or any Jim Cock bring ram goat story. No. We are going to do the work, and we're going to bring the information to you. Many things come to attention now. I am inundated with all kind of news and all sort of things, but we got to verify a lot of stuff before we come and we bring it to you, because they are sitting back. They're sitting back, not only to learn, because perhaps the learning is coincidental, but they are sitting back to find us say anything wrong, to tell us what cyber charge and cyber crime, and to discredit us. So we are conscious of that, and we're going to do what we have to do. So share the live, call a friend, and tell them that Speaking Out is on. We're going to do what we do, make a roll call, and then we're going to make some announcements, and then we're going to get into it. We have a lot to tell you today, as usual. Program was scheduled at 7 o'clock. First man in Ulrich, as I've said repeatedly, what happens is that many students come in at that time, 7 o'clock, but then this is how it is listed. Of course, everybody can't be listed at the same time. This is how the platform lists them. I don't know how it works, but they are listed in this order. So it's Ulrich, followed by Wayne from the UK, Peter, Kenneth from Maryland, Ezzy, Barbara, Wayne, then it was Marcia, Carol, Lyndon, Carrie-Ann, Paulette, Evelyn, the Kanamarook man, Aubrey from Canada, then it was Carlton, my squad mate, Raul is here, then, Raul came in at 7:01. So those that I called before, they all came at 7. Then Raul, Carl, John, Vibert, 9066, Clarence, Roxanne, Dexter, Bonita, Brian, Sean from upstate, Desiree from Georgia, Paulette, Fergus, Clifton, Pastor Smith, Rhonda, Chance, Joan from New Amsterdam, Father Masha, Marlon, Lynette from the UK, Courtney. They all came at 7:01. You see, close proximity of any student, and then the others came in. Gibbo, Tessa. I think Gibbo, somebody did say that Gibbo perhaps is one of the older policemen in terms of regulation number that is on the live. I think his regulation number, you say, was 6661. But I recall, I think it's Gordon Collins or someone, 6659, who is here. And I remember 6660, Joe Reese, the boxer from TSU when I joined, he was there as a corporal. I think he retired as a sergeant. He got ill and so on. Then we have Tessa, Orin from the UK, Puran from Essequibo Coast, Ricky Smith, Gordon. After Gordon, it was Siobhan, Kurt, Morton, the Angel, Ridley. Then it was Benji, 8948 from Mahaikoni, or as some people say, Mahaikoni. When I was going to school, lady said, the postman bring one letter. He bring them from Mahaikoni. So maybe that is where Benji is from. Then we have Denise Moore from Florida, Rosalind, Charlene, Lynette from the UK, Anthony Petersall on the East Bank of Demerara, Ivor, Brooklyn, Sydney, Melbourne, Clifton. Then it was Malcolm, Hazel, Rosalind, Dwayne, Compton, Leon, then it was Anthony, Dion, Esla, Francis Keith from Melanie Damashana. Trati is here with us. Then it was Clifton. Clifton is all the way from Paris. Diane, Cheryl from New Jersey. Hope is here with us. Then it was Glendis, Dion, Janella, Vibert, Smitty is here, 7464. Then it was Michael, the man from Imbai Madai, is here with us. Selwyn, Hazel, Annette, and this is Annette Cummins, Dorette, Brenda, Pinky, Cloyd, Pamela, there's them in the house. Sharon from the UK, True Guyanese, Claire, Wilbert. Then it was Lorraine, Paul, Maureen, Harold is here with us. Then this is Earl, Anka Paul is here. Michael Brower, the man from the British Virgin Islands. Ikin Squaddy, he's 14126, cricket 14141, I think. Cecile, Marcus, Marvin, Old time fast bowler. Used to try a thing, say bowling fast. He had good pace. I don't think he had the accuracy that is required to go with it. Princess Earl, Lamar Springs, Vaughn, Umi, Colin 8941, Michael, Lucius is here, Richard, Vibert, White, East Bank, Demerara, Siobhan, David. That it was Lenin. Can't recall seeing Lenin before. Welcome, Neville. Then it was Neola, another person I'm not sure I can recall seeing her. Abera, Grace, good to see you back in class, Grace. Aileen, Colin, George, Sean, Joseph, think he's a agricultural mocha man. Nicola, Cedric, Danny 8219 is here. Queenie, Kevin, Cranston, Henrik, Mary, Malcolm. And Malcolm says that today is his anniversary, the 4th. He joined, he said, on the 9th day of July, 1973, and was given regulation number 9218. So that would have bet your course was 72 or 73. Because we were 74, and we joined in 1974. July, not July, what I'm saying, February and July. Saying July again, I don't know why it comes. February and March. February and March, 74. So congratulations, Malcolm. Magnell, Jakey is here. Colin, Lyndon. Then it was Terrence, 9795 from Canada. John from Tennessee. Winslow. Then after Winslow, it was Terrence, Melinda, Marcus, Jacko from Georgia. Vivian, Malvak 5, Felicia, Bray, Courtney, Grantley, David, Donald, Isabella, Rastaman, Wayne, Carl, my squad mate from Arizona, Amanda, Joseph, Lennox, Tessa, Patricia, Ashley, Tallulah, Danny is here, 9731, Danny, Lester, Patricia, Karen, Clay, Heather, Denise, the secretary, Carlisle, Claude, then it was Lennox, Michelle, Terrence, Vibert is the next Vibert, Rhonda, then I'm still in the house, Royston, Winston from Florida, he's listening from Florida now, Elton, Norbert, Emerson, Terrence, TK, Lyndon, and this is Lyndon Jones, then it's Lyndon Gill, Trevor, Patricia, Doreen, George, O'Neill, Allison, Sion, Orin, Dion, Daniel, Lance, Cecil, I'm not sure. Yes, I used to be at Sparrow as a special constable. That was in 1973, before I joined the regular. I know Ulrich was there, 6605 London. At the time, I think he was a corporal. Other detectives there were 7417 Bizet and Morris Roberts. I can't remember Morris' number. 677 something was Morris' number. But I can't remember this incident that you're referring to. But I was there at the time. Maybe Lawson, Vibor 2 is on he was there too. Maybe he will be able to tell us something about that. But I have no recollection of that incident. That was a little special constable then. So a lot of things would have gone on that I would not know of. Then we have Clive from the UK, Pauline, Margot, Lyndon. It was nice seeing you too, my friend. Valerie, Pito from Queens, Jean. Then it was Kerry, Ian, Paulette, Mark, and Gladwin, Caesar, Dion, Alistair, Sandrine Baird, Sherwin, Hannett. I gotta say former MP because Parliament has been dissolved. So former MP Annette is here with us. Good to see you, my dear. Connolly, Doris, always a pleasure to see you here, Doris. The man double X. Colo is here. Boo, and look at it, coincident, Colo, 10, he came in at 10:33. And what was his number? 11933, I think it was. Colo at 10933. He was at 33. He has it listed. He said 1933, but it's not 1933. He left out a digit. Boo, Michelle, then it was X came back, Christy Jack, Orville, Rupert, and Rupert here is from England, he says. Welcome, my brother. Moses, Desiree says that she's watching us from Texas, where everything is real big. Angela, Corinne, Rayburn is here. Mark, Lyndon, the bar bread. Dylan, Vashti, Alex. Then it was William again. And then that was the last in the schoolyard. And then we had Abu from Essequibo Coast, Danny from Trinidad, Joan came back. Then it was Lynette from Barbados, and the list goes on and on and on. So welcome one and all. Share the live. Share. Let them know that we are here. Now good. Let me go to the announcements quickly. I'm giving you time to build up, We just 15 minutes into the program. We're giving you time. Now for the announcements, the sad ones. We told you about the death of a constable, there's a corporal, Dwayne McKenzie. His number was 19577 from Region 6. I understand the funeral is today in New Amsterdam, Starlyton or somewhere there. I haven't gotten any more details. So that is what we understand. And we told you too that Jean Simpson will be buried on Saturday, July 7th. Sandy's Funeral Parlor, Chapel, Georgetown, viewing from 11 to 12. And then she'll be buried at Golden Grove Cemetery. Then we got to remind you about the death of Louis Golden, 9601 body. That will be on Friday the 11th. Number 4 Village, West Coast, Borvie. Service commences at 11 at Bailey's Funeral Home. Burial at number 4 Cemetery. Then I told you too about the death of Clement Bailey. Clement Jerome Bailey. No, we didn't tell you about that one. We told you about the death of retired Detective Sergeant Calvin Bailey, 12-5-1-12. We don't have any further information on that. And then we learned of the death of ex-corporal Clement Bailey. This is another Bailey. His number they say was 18051. And I understand that he was the son of ex-detective 9495 Bailey, my squad mate, 9495 Bailey. And they said here, reflections on July the 14th at Finish Line Bar, Chatham. And then on the 15th at Girl Guides Association, Brigham. And funeral will be on the 17th, Merriman Funeral Home. Merriman Funeral viewing from 1 to 1:30, followed by the service. And then I learned yesterday of the death of a former member, Andel Magusti. Says his number was 8063. And I learned that he used to be traffic madwini in the mid-70s, around 73. Somebody said he used to be there. So I want to express condolences to all the relatives and friends of all those who have passed, and to, again, pray that the Lord give you the strength to go through this difficult time. Now for some of the more happier announcements. Birthday greetings today. Today is the birth anniversary of retired Sergeant. Well, you're retired on retirement leave, right? Kwame Lane used to drive me. I inherited Kwame as a driver when I went to Brigham as a commander in 2004, and he drove me for the rest of my service. Even when I moved to headquarters, after a while he came there. So today is Kwame. And according to the public service rules, it means that today would be his 55th birthday. So he has until the last day in this month, he's still a police. And then from 1st of August, he is a civilian. Now, it can birthday, same thing, he should have been the 1st of August as a civilian some years ago. But different strokes, different folks. So congratulations to Kwame. And then today is the birth anniversary too of Sidney Brown. Those of you back in the day remember finance, I think he was a special sergeant or inspector. Sidney is observing his natal day today. And a very good friend of mine is also a journalist, senior journalist, Bart Wilkinson, is observing a birth anniversary today. And the greatest Calypsonian of all time, Slinger Francisco, the mighty Sparrow, is observing his birthday today. 90th birthday for Slinger Francisco, born in Grenada, moved to Trinidad, then he spent time in Guyana. Slinger Francisco. And I want to ask you all this. What is your favorite Sparrow song, the mighty Sparrow? What is your, I'll come back to it. Let me announce the others. Give some time to think. What is your favorite mighty Sparrow song? And then I have here too, we did announce belated birthday greetings with my squad mate. Somebody saying no song. Courtly, check your system. I'm sure Check your system, quote me. Check your system, because I am sure people are hearing me. Then we have belated to Ulrich Stevens, 9555, my squad mate. We did announce the advance, so I give you a belated now. And then advance birthday greetings are going out to Alwyn Oit, retired assistant superintendent, and Kimberly Conway, the daughter of my co-host. I think she's observing tomorrow. But you know, Alwyn Oit story is a story. These things have to be told and studied. Oit was a sergeant promoted by the Police Service Commission before us, you know, chaired by, can't remember the guy name from across the river. You had some people there. He was promoted to the rank of inspector. And a friend of a former commissioner told the commissioner that he and I had some matter in court. And based on that, the commissioner intervened with the Service Commission. I saw that report. The people advised, the senior heads, people like Alvin Smith and Keith John advised, look, don't let me jump, the man get promoted, let me investigate. The chairman at the time arbitrarily rescinded the promotion of Oit from sergeant to inspector, arbitrarily rescinded that promotion. So the man started to wear his stars, and then they take it back. No apology, nothing at all. And then what happened? When the investigation was done, was to find that the whole thing was a cockamamie story. No matter was before the court with this man. No apology, anything like that. And then at some subsequent promotion, he was promoted to inspector and then assistant superintendent. Very, very competent guy. So you got to talk these things, you know. So because people don't remember the vindictiveness, the unprofessionalism by some of these people. We got to keep talking about it. Now coming back to the mighty Sparrow. Some people say saltfish. The Warren said, two white women, it's Congo man. No. Let me tell you, well, that's your choice. Everybody get their own choice. Or it's a Congo man. My favorite Mighty Sparrow singer Francisco song, right, is Since He Done There, Let It Stay. I don't know if y'all know that one, but that is my favorite. And you know, yeah, da-da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. Let me tell you what the chorus goes, man. I write down the chorus. And incidentally, Sparrow has over 500 songs and over 70 albums. Real, the man who mastered the art form of calypso. And them chipping this now, where you Skello tell you, and them raw renting, and Vibes Cartel, very explicit. No. When Sparrow sang, you have to listen and understand. You got to understand the what they say, the double entendre. Yeah, I think I will pronounce the word double entendre. You hear one thing, and it can interpret it. The next thing, and my favorite, hear what the man say. Hear the chorus. I ain't gonna sing it, and I'll sing it to you all. And the song name, Since He Done There. Y'all go and see it. Since He Done There. The man say, I didn't mean to be so slick, but as you move so quick, it slipped. And I'm feeling so nice and warm. Any port is for a storm. It's up to you to tell me now. I know I'm wrong and I ain't making wrong. She turned around and she smiled and she said, since you don't put it there, let it stay. Come on, look. Mighty Sparrow, man, since he done there, let it stay. Let me go back that chorus to you. He said, I didn't mean to be so slick, but as you move so quick, it slipped. And I'm feeling so nice and warm. Any port is for a storm. That is, any port is for a storm. It's up to you to tell me now. I know I'm wrong, I ain't making wrong. She turned around and she smiled and she said, since you don't put it there, let it stay. Listen to the song, man. Let's go work. And you know, it start, he went by Doreen, he drink up the rum, he went by Doreen to spend the night. And then she picking it, she don't like the way he romancing she. And that's what she telling. I don't like the way you romancing me. Right? Listen to the song, man. I listen to it. It has to be, in terms of lyrics, it has to be one of the best calypsos Sparrow sang. And my wake up alarm is now. It's not. Since he done there, let it stay. Since he done there. That is, if you listen to the words, I'm sure you'll come back and tell me. If you never heard it before, you're going to tell me that got to be the best, one of the best Sparrow songs. Since he done there, let it stay. Right? That is what the woman, he said, told him. Dorothy, I think was her name. Dorothy. So she tell him, when he done, he said, well, how can I face you in the morning? Sparrow, bring it, CC. What? CC, what is your favorite Sparrow song, man?
I really get no favorite, you know. I get difficulty in the favorite, but I remember Sparrow well. I remember he used to come to Guyana every year. And also, he not only come and sing, and he used to spend some time, and he used to spend some time with his Wabbins in Tiger Bay. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah, Francis, check it out, buddy. Check it out, Ari. Check it. He has so many, but that is my favorite when you listen to the words. A lot of wickedness. Sparrow was a wicked, wicked man. But not them explicit thing you say. It named Since It Done There, let it stay. 6 minutes or something like that long. Mighty Sparrow. Mighty Sparrow. And you know, they say, yes, he used to come to Guyana often. And I remember a story being told about truth is that he went to Barbies, I think it was Strand in New Amsterdam. And he performing. And apparently the Barbicians weren't too pleased with the performance. And then the story go that the Barbician felt and bust head. But then later on they said that he started to sing a song that said, wise men came from the east, but not as far as Barbies. I don't know how true that is. How true it is. Well, just Sparrow went to New Amsterdam at Strand and sang that wise men came from the east, but not as far as Barbies. You get yet boss. He was saying, I know you get yet boss to treat the Barbies. I don't know if that was the reason, but that is what was said. Now, all right, so good for as I said, for going forward, Malcolm, wonder if it's a course, Malcolm would have been either course 72 or 73, observing the anniversary today. 9218 Malcolm Ned, congratulations. And it has to be course 72 or course 73 if you joined in 1973. Now, let me go on to some of the more substantive matters now. Where do I start? Let me start with this one, right? Let me start with this one. And y'all will work, you know, Francis, check out the song by Sparrow, right? Then YouTube, check out the song on Sparrow. Since it done there, let it stay. Right? All right. Now the police reported yesterday. Hold on. No, Winston, I hear Sparrow get head boss in Bobby's, man. I hear that Sparrow is the man who get head boss in Bobby's. I don't know if Percy Sledge get head boss there too, but I know Sparrow, as a little boy here, Sparrow get the head boss in Bobby's. And then they said, I don't know who this part is, but they said he saying that wise men came from the east, but not as far as Barbies. Now, if you're going to sing something like that with them Barbician, I ain't justifying violence, and you get your head boss, you got to take that for your fastest, as they say. You got to take that for your fastest. Now, let me tell you all, police are reporting that the warrant executed. Oh man, warrant executed. I think it was yesterday. Earlier today, Tuesday, a female police rank executed 2 commitment warrants. And they get the case jacket numbers on Leon Moore, a 23-year-old Mason from Lot 1092 Phase 2 Farm Housing Scheme, East Bank, Demerara, and Lot 165 Titus Street, Agricola. So you get 2 addresses. The defendant, Moore, was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment in total in his absence on February 12, 2025 by magistrate at the Diamond Magistrate Court. 2 years for possession of firearm without a license, and 1 year for possession of ammunition without a license. The defendant is presently at Driveway Police Station and will be escorted to Lusitania Prison for the commencement of his sentence. Now, the first thing I observed, police said they executed 2 commitment warrants. Kudos to the Corporate Communications Unit. So they know now it's not a sentencing warrant. We have been telling you all along that there's nothing like a sentencing warrant. It is a CW, a commitment warrant. So now that you have given the release and you made the correct call, you call it a commitment warrant. I gotta give you, we tell you all them and listen, and some of them learn, Get nothing they used to say sentencing warrant. But I got a civilian they mark around in charge, nothing but policing. So and a lot of the people who are there, they're not experienced, they don't know these terms. So they used to write sentencing warrant, and now they say, well, it's not sentencing warrant. They're saying a commitment warrant, and that is the correct thing, a commitment warrant. Now let me go, and they say, yeah, Kevin Larimer or Kevon Larimer, the PPP man in Linden. Only a supporter, he's a PPP operator in Linden. Sentenced to 9 months in prison on the 19th of June. Behind the back to ex-party. A similar commitment warrant was issued for him on the 19th of June. They dance around, they're not arresting him. We announced it here on Monday that the man is not arrested, and he done social media campaigning for this PPP. I learned that Kevin Larimer, they get asked at the name, they're calling him, was arrested Monday afternoon. Say, after we talk about it on Monday, like somebody decide they're going to go. Because the man was there, the man wasn't hiding in any place. The man was arrested by the police in Linden on Monday afternoon. Today is Wednesday. You hear no release. You don't see no release yet from the corporate propaganda unit. But they get this man. I ain't saying that you should not have him, right? But the Leon Moore, is arrested. And I show by now he that losing none because the warrant, the commitment warrant, would give the prison authorities the go ahead to keep you, right? Kevin Larimer arrested Monday afternoon on a commitment warrant. So in other words, once you're arrested on a commitment warrant, it's to the police to take you to the prison and for the prison to keep you there, right? You don't hear nothing about that in the media. They're writing down. And I hope, because he was arrested on Monday afternoon, I don't think the prison, when you take prisoners in, they have a closing time. I think at 4 o'clock or something. You can't carry them after then. When I was at Brickdam and those places, sometimes court run a little late. You got to keep them. If you were unable to make an arrangement with the prison, you got to keep them at the police station there in Brickdam until next morning, and you take them. They haven't said whether Larimer has been handed over to the prison authorities. They haven't said that, but yeah, they like this propaganda thing. We talk about this animal farm. So Leon Moore is arrested on a commitment warrant, 2 commitments warrant. They get a big warrant executed. And that's yesterday. Because they say earlier today, Tuesday, that's yesterday. And then you have this man arrested since Monday afternoon. Kevin Larimer, the PPP activist. And the men said nothing yet. And I am aware that even before he was arrested, and since he was arrested, Houdini and all them magic thing in there, they're doing all kind of thing for him not to go to the prison to serve his sentence as given by the magistrate. This thing can be fair, and they talk about democracy, they talk about justice, they talk about one Guyana, they talk about equality, and all those words they use, and they know not the meaning of those words. This man arrested Monday afternoon, Kevin Larimer, the PPP activist in Linden, on a commitment warrant. It's a commitment warrant. So the only thing you have to do once you arrest him, you get a warrant, you take him straight to the prison. The prison see the warrant, and they have to take him in there. But they're doing all manner of things. And before I bring in Mr. Conway, let me tell you, and this is where you have to have strong commanders who know their work. Unfortunately, you don't have that. When I was commander A division, I like to relate these things, not to big up myself, but to let people know how the police work used to be done and should be done. Y'all remember the story with the little girl and the businessman from Camp Street? A little girl, 12 years or 13 years. He living home with the girl, having relationship and so on. The matter reached before the judge. B.S. Roy was the judge. Let me tell you, I listen carefully how police work this do. Gail Teixeira was the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. I was Commander, Felix was the commissioner, right? The girl involved is a little East Indian girl. She was then committed to go to undernaming of the girls, well, boys and girls school, the facility at undernaming, which is controlled or used to be controlled by the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. It was a Friday. I remember that so well, right? The other one, the government people, and then they want this little Indian girl go there. They start to do magic. I think it was a magistrate center there. The Friday afternoon, the clerk of court is a Muslim. So in order for him to sign the warrant, he wasn't available. The dilly-dally, even though the magistrate had made the order, they were signing the warrant for the police taker there. Felix, commissioner, and me communicating. The government indicated that she should not be sent there, even though the court says she should go. And it come to me, I said, once I get the warrant, this is where she going. Nobody had telling me that she mustn't go there. I ain't accepting that. However, the man dancing, the clerk of court, can't remember who he was. He was a Muslim man. There you go, here he got to masjid Friday afternoon, gone Juma, and that sort of thing. I say, all right, I can walk a tactical move. I told the commissioner, Felix, I said, Chief, she going to undernaming today. He said, all right, he had a type of faith in me. He said, all right, do what you got to do. And I worked out a tactical move. I got the police to take her, without the warrant, to take her to undernaming on the Essequibo coast. When the clerk came back from court and he signed the warrant, confident that it is too late for them to accept her at undernaming, I used my tactical experience. Sent she off with the female police and them gone. Then when the warrant was received, I had an outrider rode from Georgetown to Porica, where we had a speedboat standing by to take the warrant from Porica to Saudi there undernaming Saudi. And they arrived there before closing time. The authorities there, National Service, whoever used to operate the place, got the instruction that this girl should not be taken in without a warrant, because they were confident that the warrant ain't gonna come. So when we police that do the move and turn up with the warrant, they're dancing, I tell them, I say, watch, because the mistake they make is to collect the warrant for read the warrant. And I tell the police that one time they collect the warrant, you left she right there with them and move. I said, well, don't go too far, because you want left this little girl on the road on the civil coast and she own. So the police gone nearby and increasing shit. And they're then busy on the phone, they get an instruction and they're reading the warrant to tell them, yeah, we get the warrant, what we must do, and what we must do, and so on. And eventually, a little good sense prevailed, and they took her in. Then the commissioner called me, said, what happened there? I said, tactical move from a tactical man. This time the government and them, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, they're mad because the girl was there. And eventually she came, Justice B.S. Roy dealt with the matter and so on. And the rest is history, because as a result of that matter, and perhaps other stuff, they changed the law of consent. You know, at that time, the English law, female under 13 could not give consent to sex. But then they move it from 13 to 16, where it is up to now. Right? So I just remember these things as tell police. I had taken no instruction from no minister. The party would say, once I get a warrant from the court, to go into where the warrant, people say she must go. Right? But you have to get a tactical move to get her there. Right? So this warrant, saying that to say, with this commitment warrant, Larimer should have been close to the Lusignan prison since Monday night. Close to the Lusignan prison, or if not, from very early morning, from the time board wife waked Monday morning, or Tuesday morning, yesterday morning, he should have been taken there. And as soon as the jail gate opened for accept prisoners, he should have been the first man to go there Tuesday morning. But let me know, because they didn't say nothing when he was taken there. I know that he was arrested Monday afternoon. I know that. All over social media is splashing out. But what I do not know is if, in fact, he is in the jaws of the Lusignan prison. I can't confirm that. Right? Let me bring in Mr. Conway. See, this uneven justice. One man, they make big splash, commitment warrant, he arrested, and da. And Larry man, who was arrested before him, then saying nothing. You're taking it.
Well, those tactical movements, at my corner we used to call them police forensic rascality. You treat them the way they behave. Anyway, before I end up in trouble, let me backtrack a bit, Paul. And I must say, praise the Lord that I'm in the land of the living to do God's work. And also, I didn't wish my daughter belated happy birthday. Tomorrow is Kim's birthday. She'll be 43. And I'm gotta wish myself too, because Paul, tomorrow would be 43 years since I became a father. And let me talk a little story, Think we get a little time there. At the time, I was stationed at a place called Ikerku in the Cayenne River, which is classified as a border station with Venezuela. And the police there, the police sergeant, I was the sergeant in charge. The police sergeant, I was the GAC agent, Guyana Airways Corporation, used to get flight once a week. I was the agent there. I was the postmaster there. I was the mines officer there. I was a Met officer because I used to measure rainfall. I don't know what's going on at that location there. And I trained for all those duties that I had to perform. And the only means of communication we had there was by radio set through the official channel. And I received a letter 1 week after. I received a letter from my wife saying that I got a daughter. And she sent a photograph. There's 1 week after. And I jumped on the next plane, traveled to Georgetown. My wife was in leg one, catch a speedboat to Puerto Rico to leg one. And there I saw her in a bed. And when I look at her, I see she had Conway stamp on her face there. Not that I had doubt, not that I doubt, but Conway get good genes. And my mother-in-law, she came to me. I said, she used to call me Broads. Broads, take off your socks, take off your socks. I said, man, I ain't taking off no socks. And I think, and then she said, take off your socks. And I took off my socks. And she said, come, let me show you this thing. And she carried me to where my daughter was on the bed and said, watch these toes and watch your toes. Watch your daughter get your toes. And I think that was the DNA that those people in leg one, must just adopted. So watch your toes and watch your daughter toes. And if you fast forward to now, myself and wife, we program Kim, or we inspire her to get Bishop High School. Then she went to university, graduated the best student in our department. And she gave me 3 wonderful grandchildren. Gabriela, who is now 17, is a first-year student at the university. Cassandra will be, I think next year she'll be writing CXC. And then my grandson Israel next year is common entrance. And I'm sure he's going to do well. But the point is I want to make, and even all the children, they are university graduates. And then they had no gold scholarship. Me and my wife, we spend our hard-earned money to make sure that they get university. And I want to make the point to you parents here that you need to inspire your children. You need to inspire them to do well academically and otherwise. Give them the opportunity so that they could excel in whatever field whenever they may wish to pursue. So congratulations, Kim, in advance, and congratulations to me in advance for being a very good father.
Yeah, man, congratulations to you, CC. Congratulations. You made a very valid point, We got to take care of these children. And we want to make the comment about now, schools are out. You're into the, what they call summer holiday, August holidays. And the parents should make sure that those children are made to do something useful. Some lessons, some craft, something. Don't get them home just playing for this entire 2 months. Find some time to make sure they get his camp, whether it's cricket camp, whether it's whatever. Find something for them to do. Find something. Back in the day, I remember when I came down from in 2004, I used to get children around me, used to sponsor them for little lessons and so on. So you got to find something for them to do during this period, right? So let me leave that with you all. Find something for them to do. And some questions are being asked. Commissioner Cole asked. Yes, Commissioner Cole, is the same matter I'm referring to with the 12-year-old girl, and they said the mother enabled her to have the relationship with the businessman. And then I see commentary from Doreen saying that she was scammed by the same man since 2021, right? And a lot of people, you look on social media, a lot of people saying that the same Kevin Larry must scam them, right? People commenting and calling me housing minister because the allegation is that he taking people money, or he took people money to say he can arrange for them to get land. But you know, these criminals tend to gravitate towards the party, you know. The criminals tend to gravitate towards the PPP, many of them, right? So Larima, we are going to follow up to hear what has happened to Larima, where he's at the Lusitnan prison. Because as I told you all on Monday, I get me tentacles there, you know, out, feeling. And people said since last week, the police were told not to arrest him, even though they were in possession of this commitment warrant. They were instructed that they should leave him alone. But he was arrested Monday. I don't know who arrested or what prompted the arrest on Monday. I understand that the police, the senior policemen, had to go underground. They had to go underground, telephone ringing off the hook for giving instructions. Telephone ringing. They went underground because I understand enough of them did not answer the phone. But, you know, in my position, answer the phone and tell them plain, no, this is a commitment warrant, an order from the court, and you are going to obey the order of the court. That is how the system should work. But you got to wait to hear what happens. Now, moving forward, I want to show you all a picture. And then I'm going to make the comments after. I'm going to show you all the picture, and then I'm going to make the comments. Now, look at this picture. Examine this picture carefully. This is said to be Kwakwani Police Station in Region 10. Right? You see, Brokdong. Here, the story that follows this story, this picture. The thing started out by saying, you are not going to believe this. And I did not believe it. I did not believe it, except that it comes from a source that is credible. He said, you're not going to believe this. This building in the photo below, this is this photo, was a recently refurbished functioning police station when we last visited Kwakwani in 2025. Right? That's what I said. Functioning police station in 2025, February 25, when it was visited. The contractors turned up. Let me think this call disturbing me now. The contractors turned up and started demolishing the police station. Listen to this carefully. The contractors turned up one day and started to demolish the Kwakwani police station. After they had effectively destroyed the building, they discovered that they had demolished the wrong building. What the story said, they in February this year, it was a proper police station. Contractors turned up one day and started to demolish this building. After they had effectively demolished the building, they discovered that they had demolished the wrong building. The police station, which was previously located here, is now located in the dormitory, which was built to house the police station in Kwakwani. So they broke down the wrong building, they broke down the police station. So the police were forced now to go into the dormitory to conduct the policing from the dormitory. You think this thing, when some of these things you can't really believe. It is difficult to believe that you turn up, you get some contract to demolish a building. Now, if you turn up, you have to recognize that this building is not, there's no need for demolition. And then the question is asked, what is the involvement of the people at the station? What is the involvement? Because one would have expected that if you think in the community officer, these people know that some work is to be done, and therefore they're aware. So when the people turn up, the people will say, well, look, this is not the building. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. They turn up, they demolish the police station. And I would hope that they will come out and say, because this thing circulating for some time now on Facebook, and they haven't come out to debunk it. So perhaps there's some truth to this, that they've effectively demolished the police station. And then when they're done, then they discover it's the wrong building. So the police now got to work and live in the one building was designed as a dormitory. Let me bring in CC, man. CC, something you just can't believe. You can't make these things up. You used to be a commander there, man. You're expert. Let me hear you try to explain it.
Now when I commander, I have good relatives there, and they told me the same story. I have plenty nieces and nephews and everybody around there, But let me tell you a story. When I was commander, Borbis, we had a police building. Can't remember the name of the street, Kobok Street. There was someone on the street there. And all of a sudden, I see the region started to repair the building. And they're working fast. So I said, hey, all them police buildings, they take long, this one. And when the building was about to complete, Mustafa, who was the chairman, called me and said, Commander, the ministry repaired the wrong building. They should have repaired the one on the northern side. And if I could allow the region to use the building that they repaired, the police building, I say I can't give away police building. I have no authority. And if you have repaired the wrong building, sorry for y'all. And I remember Carl West was superintendent at Kanji, Reliance Kanji. He was chairing a building there with some other. I say, hey, this afternoon, come and move in and stay in there. So there it is, that the region, instead of they repair the building on the northern side, they repair the one on the southern side. So all kind of things happen. So just pull in west as a stay there and you can't come out. And that was the end of the story.
Yeah. I got an update to this Larima story, I got an update to say that as of 11:50 today, Larima has not been taken to the Lusignan prison as ordered by the court. Kavan Larima, who is convicted for fraud, sentenced to 9 months in prison as from the 19th day of June this year. I am airing that as of 11:50, now it's 11:55. As of 5 minutes ago, he has not been taken to the Lusignan prison, even though he was arrested by the police on Monday afternoon in Linden. You see what tell you all about this place? And they talk about democracy, they talk about rule of law. Nandalal and all them, the president and Jagdio, they talk about rule of law and all this other crap. I blaming the police. I am blaming the police because the police ought to say that the prisons refuse to accept him. Because I made the point that from early yesterday morning, since board wife wake, they should have been there standing outside the Lusignan prison with him, because the warrant says that he should be taken to Lusignan prison for serving 9 months. And these are the people who will tell you about rule of law and equality and one guy. Yeah, it's one Guyana, only for them. Why is Larima not in the jaws of the Lusignan prison as ordered by the court? And y'all telling me, y'all jump and tell me about what the man is, Leon Moore, commitment warrant. Yeah, commitment warrant. February 12th, committed 2 charges. And you put big release yesterday, Tuesday. He's arrested on the commitment warrant. You give all the details. Larima was arrested since Monday afternoon. My information is that he has not been taken to the Lusignan prison at yet. Right? He has not been taken. And I said, blaming the police. Because you have a warrant from the court, you arrest him, arrangements should have been placed. That's where the commanders and these people come in. Nobody can call you, no commissioner, no president, no prime minister, no vice president. You have a warrant from the court, and you have to execute that warrant. You arrested him. The next thing is to take him straight to the Lusignan prison. Any negotiations is with the Lusignan prison. Any court order or so on is the Lusignan prison. Not the police, but you see the police leave themselves exposed with these things. So they are going to be blamed. They are going to be blamed because you have a warrant. You have a commitment warrant. A commitment warrant. And I hear the man in Ghana yet. So I'm going to follow it up though. I am going to keep following it up. Because as I told you all since last week, and I repeated it on Monday, that I am aware that they're doing all sort of things. And the PPP, let me be explicit, they were doing everything to ensure that the operative, the activists in Linden, Kevin Larimer, did not go to the to the Lusignan prison as ordered by the court. As ordered by the court. Right? So that is the story. Weak commanders, weak police. Well, don't say weak commissioner, because he should not even been there saying it over and over. But they put the police in a spot. Because there's nothing, all you got to tell them, say here, whether it's an arrest warrant or a commitment warrant, once you execute that, you doing what the court ordered. Nobody can call you and tell you don't and don't. No. Unless the court withdraws the order or so on, right? Unless the court withdraws the order. Now, and that perhaps is a good time for me to bring in or to talk about this other matter. Hold on, let me pull up the notes, man. You're really upset you when you get these things, you know. Upset you when you see what is going on in this country. Upset you. Now, there is something which says, and this is a couple of days ago, I want it passed now because it's appropriate now that we talk about the police not doing what they're supposed to do. Court give an order for this man to serve time. And the police, they executed the warrant. Kudos to them. Even though they did, since the 19th of June, it's only Monday they executed the warrant. Because they're dumping and they're dancing and they're hiding. So once you execute the warrant, it's straight to the Lusignan prison because that is what the warrant says. He should be taken to the Lusignan prison to serve 9 months. And I'm aware, as I've said, that they're calling all over the place for him to not to go there. And it looked like the police cave in to those unlawful interventions. Right? But then the next thing, let me read this one here too. God, this dovetails into that. Jagdeo abandons incompetent police force ahead of elections. After years of political capture, APNU warns of institutional collapse. This is something on social media a couple of days ago, maybe a week now. Let me read what it says. Georgetown, Guyana, this is credible source. Vice President Bharat Jagdeo has emphatically distanced the PPP-led government from recent high-profile controversies involving the Guyana police force, such as the Baby Skello blasphemous libel prosecution and the misapplied charges against activist Rickford Burke and several other police force scandals. Jagdeo insisted that the government has no say in police decisions, citing the doctrine of separation of powers, effectively claiming no responsibility for serious missteps by the force. But police force reform proponents interpret this as a shocking abdication. A ruling party that's effectively, quote, captured, unquote, the police for years is now washing its hands when the force falters. They accuse PPP of installing loyalists at all ranks, including the Office of the Commissioner of Police, politicizing investigations, and turning the police force into a tool of patronage rather than a neutral institution. Now that scandals erupt daily, the party appears prepared to draw a dividing line, to blame the police, not itself. The APNU coalition warns that this approach further erodes public confidence in law enforcement, which polling suggests is already at a dangerously low level. Incidents such as the cover-up of the Adriana Young murder investigation and the Linden shootings point to systemic dysfunction, not isolated failures. For the APNU coalition, these problems are not accidents. They are the predictable outcome of the PPP's partisan control that has compromised the independence of the police. In response, the APNU coalition is calling for radical reform, civilian oversight bodies with full investigative powers, whose charge wholesale change in the Guyana police force leadership and a return to professional policing free from political interference. Their argument, if the PPP refuses accountability, now simply cements years of institutional decay. Without urgent reform, the legitimacy of the entire national justice system hangs in a balance. I needed to make the point. Because hear what Jack was saying, right? Jack was saying, he insists that the government has no say in police decisions, citing the doctrine of separation of powers, effectively claiming no responsibility for serious missteps by the police. On the site, the Baby Scalo blasphemous libel prosecution and the Rickford Burke matter, where they sent the police officer to New York to execute a summons on Burke. And you know, he distancing himself. And the Attorney General of Guyana, Anil Nandlal, SC, MP, defended that action on social media. That's the action of the police traveling to New York to serve a summons on a U.S. citizen. He defended it publicly. The thing is there. But now, Jack Dio, they're throwing the police under the bus. And that is what I continue to warn them about. Do your duty professionally. Do your duty professionally. Now, I got a lot to say about this, but let me bring you Mr. Conway, and then we're going to come back. See, I just read this article, and I'm sure you want to make some comments. Go ahead, please.
There's nothing strange, you know. They have records, history. I remember when they had the inquiry into the discipline services led by Ian Chang, who was acting Chief Justice. And they had Gadraj, Minister Gadraj, under cross-examination. And they quoted a lot of issues where he gave Commissioner McDonald unlawful instructions, a series, a whole catalog they mentioned, including giving a man like Axel Williams, a bounty killer, upgrading his weapon to 9mm, giving out illegal firearms and all kind of things. And when they questioned Gadraj said, Commissioner McDonald should have been guided by the Constitution and his conscience. McDonald said, you see the man threw me in the bus? Eh? All them thing where do free, he threw me in the bus. That if the instructions is unlawful, you don't have to carry it out. I ain't gotta be man enough. Paul, you stood up to Gadraj. And you gotta stand up to people when the thing is unlawful. And there are numerous. We can take this whole episode and many of us talk about police, that the government or political interference into the operation of the Guyana police force. There are so many political interference in the Guyana police force. It's there. It's widespread. And if policemen are not strong enough, they're going to throw them under the bus. Just like how they throw under the bus. It will continue unless you have strong police. And I ain't seen no strong police. I ain't seen nobody stand up. Some of them get seed. They will get backbone. And it will continue to happen where we have the political interference in the police force. And the policemen will gleefully carry it out.
Yeah, you know, it's worrying because I'm going to talk some more about that. So I encourage you to share the live. We're getting warm up now, you know. Just past an hour. We got an hour more. Share the live. Because when you hear the vice president, as he is referred to, telling you that the government has no say in police decision. What? From my own personal experience, I can tell you, the president wanted son to be promoted when I was the chairman of the Police Service Commission and Conway was a member. And when we decided that we were going to follow the rules, which says that if you have pending, one of the rules said that if you have pending disciplinary matters, you cannot be considered for promotion. And on the 23rd of December 2020, conversation with the president, the man carry on. Go ahead and promoting the people, and now it's other thing, the man left there because the promotion shortlist was leaked to him. And Brutus said in an affidavit in court that the promotion shortlist created on the 23rd of December 2020 was leaked to him, Brutus, by a confidential source of the Police Service Commission. That is what is in writing, black and white, sworn to by Brutus. And the president could talk about separation of power. And it brought me back right to my university days, And I ain't got to IFOC University because in the days I did public management, degree in public management. One of the courses that had to be done, mandatory course, was Environments of Public Administration. Environments of Public Administration taught by Theo Morris. Theo Morris, a Bostonian. He was an umpire afterward. We had a little laugh with the umpire. Let me tell you all the joke with Theo umpiring. And we had a guy used to bowl a little spin named Bage. We used to call him Bage. He's from Bajan origin, played for police. He used to be at the K9 section. And he had a suspect action. And he bowling and people complaining, umpire, the man bowling no ball, the man pelting Theo, stand up for him, Theo and calling me. Then Bage bowl, and Bage got a wicket. Right? Somebody lashed some ball in the air and out. The next ball, Bage bowl, Theo, no ball. He come again, he bowl, no ball. So they're asking Theo, umpire, what is the position, man? Oh, you call his man son. He said, well, I didn't call you all the time because he didn't get in wicket, but now that he get wicket, I got to call you no ball. Theo Morris taught me environments of public administration to talk about separation of powers. I think it was who Montesquieu. I got box back me think Montesquieu, right? The Frenchman come up with this concept of separation of powers. In other words, he talked about the three branches of government. The executive, which is the president and the cabinet, the legislative, which in our case is parliament, and the judiciary. And he says that these branches should be separate but equal. So none can give instruction to the other. So you have the legislative, the president, the cabinet. Then you have the judiciary, they make the law. The parliament, they make the law. And you have the judiciary that interprets the law. Not in Guyana. Not in Guyana. And I'm talking politics per se, I'm talking facts. In Guyana, the legislative, which is comprised of the president and the cabinet, are not separate and distinct from the parliament, the legislative branch. The executive is not, because almost all of the people in the cabinet are part of the parliament to make laws. So where's the separation? And these are things that I wrote. I remember we got the UGR right paper. You pointed out these things. How can you speak about separation of powers when, according to Montesquieu, there should be three distinct and separate branches? The executive, comprised of the president and the cabinet. The legislative, which is parliament. In the US, they get Congress, and you get the upper chamber and the lower chamber, which is you have Congress, you get the House of Representatives, which is, you call it a bicameral legislature. In Guyana, it's a unicameral legislature, one house, right? Then you have the judiciary. They should be separate. Guyana, they are not separate. Because even if you look to how they are appointed, you know that they are separate. As I've said, the most glaring example, you have people who are part of the executive, people who are part of the cabinet, almost all the ministers who are part of the cabinet. They are also part of the legislative branch, parliament, they make the law. And if you're talking about true separation of power, that should not be. That should not be. So, they talk to a lot of stupid people when they make these things. I don't even know, sure if they know. Jack, they'll study in Russia. Yeah, must what is separation of power. Because in Russia, there's no separation of power. Russia, when you think, I see another man, somehow fall through some window. It's surprising in Russia when you run in, you come up against the executive, fall through the window, right? The Carlton, you get senators who are in the Senate, that's the upper chamber, and then you have the representatives. So it's Congress comprises of upper, and that's not only in the US, other places too. You have upper chamber and lower chamber. So when the lower chamber passes the law, you got a process, but Guyana is not that case. In Guyana, you have a unicameral legislature, one level, parliament. So we understand this thing clearly, one level, parliament. So when they come to talk about separation of power, that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. And then look, let me give some examples where the separation does not exist. I told you about the president try to give instructions here. The court of Guyana, Justice Gino Prasad ruled that the president acted unconstitutionally, broke the constitution, he violated the constitution when he suspended the Police Service Commission on the 16th of June 2021. The court ruled he violated the constitution, and there's only one. In appointing Akin again, he violated the constitution. So I don't know what they come to tell us about separation of power. The court ruled years ago, since 2021. The court ruled 2021. I'm talking here about the GTT pensioners. Pensioners. They had this issue, they took the matter to court. The court ruled in favor of the pensioners that the pension should be computed based on something. I get all the details, Up to day like today, from 2021 March, up to day like today, the court, the government has not honored that ruling of the court, and they have not appealed the matter, As far as I'm aware, they have appealed, but they said to hell with them, they are not going to carry out the thing. That is what you talk about. I talk about separation of power. The court ruled. All right. In a democracy where the rule of law prevails, if you're not in agreement with the ruling of the court, there's a process. You can challenge it. You appeal all the way to the apex court. They haven't done so in this case, but just decide the men giving the people them the money. They're not honoring the order of the court. Only recently this week, or last week rather, we saw where the teachers, remember the matter with the teachers on the strike? And the court ruled that the government should continue to deduct the union dues from the teacher's salary and remit it to the Guyana Teachers Association. I saw an article a couple of days back. They have refused to do that. They have refused to do that. So you're talking about separation of powers. They have refused to do that. You want to talk about separation of power? Why then have they not confirmed the Chief Justice and the Chancellor? Why have they not done so? So you see, they come and they use these words, they see the word somewhere and they use it, and they don't know the meaning of these words, they don't know the meaning of the concepts. Because when you look at appointments in Guyana, you look at who appoints. All these constitutional bodies, is the government basically appointed them. Look at the Police Service Commission. When we were appointed in Police Service Commission in 2018, they went through the process where the Police Association identified and recommended to Parliament. Parliament went through the process, identified the persons. And the only role the president has, according to the Constitution, is to select, I think it's 4 persons names are presented by the select committee to the president. And the only role the president has is to appoint one of those 4 as chairperson of the commission and to swear them in. Only role. But what happened now? What happened now? They are involved from the time the people are identified. They instruct who should be put on the list to go to Parliament. And they're talking about separation of powers. Who should be put to go to Parliament? Look, going back to the appointment of the Chancellor and the Chief Justice, it requires the agreement of the leader of the opposition. The leader of the opposition, years now, wrote to say that he is in favor of these 2 persons being appointed, Chief Justice and Chancellor. And what they do? They haven't appointed them yet. Even the man who just retired as the president of the CCJ had to make comment. And I get it thing there, the man said, it is disappointing that after all these years, those persons have not been confirmed in the position. So how are you going to tell us about the separation of power? Oh, and then they talk in the same article that they have captured the police for years, right? They accuse people installing loyalists at all ranks, and that is true. They install loyalists at all levels, starting again. Most of the divisional commanders unqualified for those positions, but they put them there. They put them there, and with disastrous results to the country. Disastrous. Look at the Adriana Young case. Look at the Adriana Young case. Look at the other case in Region 1. A police commander who they put is sanctioned by the U.S. for drug smuggling, drug trafficking, a police senior commander. And they don't want to talk about these things. They don't want to talk about it, but they put people. I talk about it frequently. I said that, and Brutus said to the Indianization of the police command. Brutus they call and tell them about diversity. Brutus alleged that Jack Dio called them at some meeting, telling they want diversity. Back in the day, they used to call them optics. They want optics. I am reliably informed that even courses, not only in police, even the GDF, if courses are offered abroad or elsewhere, and they have a panel to select the most qualified people, them telling you you got to get diversity, they want optics. So not a case where the most qualified people are identified to go on these courses. You got to forget a mixture, ethnic mixture. So how are you going to survive as a credible organization in that manner? How? I've got to ask them how they're going to survive, right? And they say a call for radical reform, civilian oversight with full investigative powers. I am aware that during the administration of the coalition, there's a gentleman who came down here and looked at the to reforming the force. And this is one of the recommendations. I have the report somewhere there, where you talk about civilian oversight with full investigative powers. Because I was interviewed as the chairman of the Police Service Commission because the people weren't satisfied with the old process. And I point out them what the Constitution, what the law said. There's very little that we can do. The Service Commission don't have the resources to investigate. So even though you are responsible for disciplining ranks in the force from inspector to assistant commissioner, you don't have the investigative capacity. And the Constitution allows you, Article 212, to delegate the authority to some members of the force, and therein lies a big part of the problem. So all of these things need to be looked at. I remember when Brutus took the commission to court and joined by Prem Narain and Shiv Prasad Bakas and all them. Nandalal, at one of the two meetings we had, made the point that this arrangement is not the right arrangement. Yet he wasn't pleased with the arrangement, and it has remained there all the time. And the arrangement I'm talking about is where when a complaint is made to the Service Commission will then identify someone in the force to investigate, and then identify people from the force to conduct the tribunal and all of that, or the tribal union, all that. Unsatisfactory arrangement. So all of these type of reforms are needed if you're going to get professional policing. And I'm saying this before I bring in Mr. Conway, that it is important that you return or you try to get back the police to professional policing. Because all over the world, they will tell you, if you don't have professional policing, if the public don't have confidence in the police force, you're in for big, big trouble. You're in for trouble. Because they're going to report, they're going to see things, they're going to cooperate with the police, and therefore police end there on the scene of all crimes. You expect members of the public to assist, to provide investigation, to provide information for all of that you expect. But if you have a police force such as we have in Guyana, where there's little confidence in the institution, people have recognized that the police is corrupt. People have recognized that the police are the stooge or the stooges of the government. Government tell them to do what they want to do. And whether it's lawful or not, they don't question that. How are you going to gain confidence? How are you going to be professional when that happens? You can't. You can't. And finally, let me say this. This government is comfortable with an unprofessional police force. Because I have said before, they don't want professionalism. They don't want that. Because if you have professionalism, they can't call you and tell you don't carry Larima to the lieutenant prison. They can't call you and tell you don't charge his body or charge his body. They can't call because you have a professional police force. They don't want that. They don't want that. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. See your comments on that, my brother.
Yeah, this separation of power. You mentioned the executive, legislative, judiciary. And now one person must be in two different bodies. If you're in the executive, you're in the executive. Legislative, you're in legislative, you must be there. You can't be in both. And the whole idea of the separation power is to prevent one branch from becoming dominant. It's about checks and balances. It helps to protect tyranny and promote accountability. It limits the action of the branches. And the thing is that it protects the individual rights and liberties. And when power is concentrated, corruption will flourish. There must be the separation, and you can't get the executive dealing with the police, passing orders, and they do it all the time. The government is policy, and the police is operation. The government will say, hey, I want crime be reduced by 10%. But you can't tell me who must be the crime chief. Just like how they take Blanham and make it crime chief. You can't tell me who must be the head of the major crime when they call the take Caesar and make it major crime. And all those things that you can't do that. You deal with policy and you don't get involved in operation matters. You can't tell me that you want the chaos on the road, the traffic situation come under control, and you take a tainted man and you put it and you install it as the traffic chief. No way. And then you take a man who passed the age of retirement and make it conform as commissioner. Deal with policy and don't get involved in operational matters. Tell me what is the policy, but don't tell me who I must put, who must be in charge, and who must do what as the case may be. No way, no way. Deal with policy and don't deal with operation. As you said, there must be separation of powers. You can't get the executive there in parliament. There's no separation. They get jewel thing that they performing it there. The thing is about oversight, checks and balances and oversight. But no. They decided that they're gonna cross the floor, then go along that the executive coming down to the legislative. And sometimes they are also passing orders on the judiciary, as we know in many cases. So what they're talking about separation of power, it ain't working. It ain't work in reality. It is not working in Guyana.
Yeah, it might come to the judiciary not only not passing order because but disobeying disobeying the orders of the court. How can you have a credible government when court makes order and you just disobey? Talk about again the the GT&T, those people there, those people who are pensioners. The court made an order since 2021. It's unconscionable. Those men and the pension. It's unconscionable for them to deny those people the benefits. They challenge you, okay, you want to pay them. They took you to court. The court ruled in a particular way. You have not appealed, but you just decide to ignore the ruling of the court. How can that be? And you talk about democracy, you talk about the rule of law, you talk about all that. What you have in there is just that. Let me tell you again. Let me read. It's not a democracy. What I see in Guyana is what I call a kleptocracy. And what is a kleptocracy? They say kleptocracy is derived from the ancient Greek word meaning thief, and rule refers to a form of government where leaders use their political power to enrich themselves at the expense of the public. This often involves stealing public funds and resources, bribing officials, and using international connections to launder the stolen wealth. They say, here's a more detailed explanation. And I want you to follow me, student. Follow a more detailed explanation. Kleptocracy is a type of political corruption where rulers prioritize personal gain over the needs of the population. Terms of Guyana, check. How it works. Leaders exploit their position to steal public funds, often through embezzlement, bribery, and abuse of power. Come to Guyana again, check. Then you say international connections. Kleptocrats often use international financial system to launder their stolen wealth and protect their assets, especially in countries with strong rule of law norm. Check. Impact. Kleptocracy undermines democratic institutions, hinders economic development, and can lead to widespread poverty and instability. Again, check. They go on key elements. It often involves the use of offshore accounts, shell companies, and other methods to hide and launder stolen assets. Shell companies in particular. Check. Examples. Some examples of countries facing kleptocratic regimes include those with high levels of corruption and authoritarianism. Check. Efforts to combating kleptocracy. Efforts to combat kleptocracy often involve promoting transparency, accountability, and strengthening democratic institutions. So they're saying to us that if you want to combat kleptocracy, it often involves promoting transparency. There's no transparency in Guyana. Accountability. No accountability. And you have to strengthen democratic institutions. Now, when you have a democratic institution in Guyana, the government attack them and so on. When you talk about transparency, people have got to picket for the Commission of Information to provide basic information. You can't go to the court, although they say, I don't know if they have a Freedom of Information Act. You can't go to the court and get no information. So again, all of those things are part of the kleptocratic government. So I don't know what they come to tell us about. And I make the point, and I will continue to repeat, what they did not say here, and I will say it, to combat kleptocracy, apart from having to promote transparency, accountability, and strengthening democratic institutions, you have to get rid of the kleptocrats. You have to get rid of them. Sagi Jarvis is to say, old people say, cat jump you on. When cat jump you on, they say you got the teeth. Sagi Jarvis is in a cat, your teeth in so bad is Bengal tiger. Jump you on. 51, Edmund Jarvis. He used to talk there. He said it's not cat jump some of them on. It's Bengal tiger jump them on. They born Diwali night, the darkest night in the year. All them things people say born them night, they're going thief. Them born Diwali night. In addition to that, cat jump them on. They can't help thieving. And when we talk about thief, is in the billions of thieving. Billions, all of them. Thieving, percentage 8, thieving. They are thieving. This is not the song where everybody peeping. They say they're thieving. They're thieving. And it is obvious. I get some other information that I will research and share to show how these people thief. To show how they are thieving barefacedly in every area. Look at all of these projects. Road project broke up after a couple of months. We talk about the Kwakwani station. Tell me there's not corruption. Tell me if there is not corruption. Everybody is contractor. Whether it's police, whether everybody, they buying vote. So everybody come contractor. You want a contract? Yeah, I'm going to give you a contract. They're concerned whether the work can be done properly. They're not just if the work is done properly. They are using our money to try to influence people to vote for them. But I say this, I hope people get good sense. It's not their money, it's we money. Take the money. Take the money, it's ours. And when the time comes, remember Adriana Young. When the time comes, remember Adriana Young, as I've said repeatedly. September 1, I want all women, perhaps all decent people, remember Adriana Young. She ain't get justice yet. But we should ensure that she get justice. I noted, I ain't got time to think we ain't got time to go into it. The crime chief gave us thing yesterday that the investigation is still active he says, well, there is news. The investigation is still active. We can talk about that. But when September 1 come, remember Adriana Young. She did well at the Purika Primary School. Look at her here. She was on the honors roll, but they snuffed out her life. And they tell you, they kill she, they murder she. And then they come to tell you all sort of nonsense, right? All sort of nonsense that they're gaslighting now, trying to blame the grandmother and all that. Adriana Young is on the ballot for September 1. You know what else is on the ballot? Let me show you all what else is on the ballot. This is on the ballot. This is the first lady of then, Varshni Singh Jagdeo. Look what she says there. She said, I will never forget how I was treated under the PPPC administration while I was First Lady of Guyana. They have zero respect for women. That is what the then First Lady, remember what she talking about there? Jagdeo locked she out of the matrimonial home, mosquito in her tail downstairs. She talk about how he neglected her, no finance, and they said neglected her financially and otherwise. That is left to all type of interpretation. And otherwise, women, I can't understand. Let me say this. I can't understand how any right-thinking, decent woman will look to see how the First Lady was allegedly treated by Jagdeo, and what they did to young Adriana Young, and still say that these people, you can vote for these people. Let's put it blank, point blank. I can't understand how can you vote for these people having regards to these things? How can you? And I got complained that we political. But we thinking facts. Let me bring in CC for him to have his say, man. I can't act this button to one. CC, Adriana Young, Varshni Singh, your views.
Well, it is clear, listen to her, the way she was treated. It's all there on the records, and they weren't able to debunk it financially and otherwise. And then I remember Jagdeo saying that he never touched a woman. I know you're going to interpret that, but getting back to Adriana, I'm happy, and we go more into it, that the crime chief has found his voice, and he said it is active. And he said that the investigation is active. But here's the crime chief saying that he had advised his detective. You expect a deputy commissioner crime chief to instruct his detective? He has advised they could take the advice or they could not take it. Those are the words, that he has advised his detective instead of that he has instructed. That's how a crime chief would talk. That's how a deputy commissioner will speak. That have instructed, but is advised. But more on that crime chief statement later on.
Yes. Let me go back to the same election thing, because we told you the president made a proclamation or made the proclamation for regional and local government elections to be held. No, well, not local government, regional and national elections to be held in September 1, right? And I made a note. September 1 is Labor Day in Brooklyn, West Indian Day Parade in Brooklyn. So this thing is strategic. I know black people like sport up, so they believe that a lot of black people can decide, I ain't going to vote. I ain't going to Guyana because I can't miss Eastern Parkway, the float parade on Labor Day in Brooklyn. September 1 is that day. They put it directly in the midst of the Caribbean Premier League cricket. You got to look at these things, I just analyze these things. They put it in the middle of the Caribbean Premier League cricket, which starts on August the 14th and ends on September the 21st at Providence Stadium. During that time, a lot of people from the diaspora go to see cricket. I suspect a lot of their supporters. So that is what they do. That is what they do. And I learned something yesterday. I don't know how true it is, but I would not be surprised because it happened in 2020. And I would not be surprised if it is happening again. What am I talking about? I was reliably informed that the Commissioner of Police, Clifton Ikin, extended squatter, right? Confirmed squatter, had a recent interaction with trainees at what they call them training school, academy, wherever it is. They had a recent interaction. And some of the people have complained to their parents and their family that the man telling them was vote PPPC. The Commissioner of Police is alleged to have had a meeting with trainees and staff recently. And he is telling them who they must vote for, PPP, vote for the government. Something, but I said, under normal circumstances, you might want to believe this. But in 2020, he did exactly that. Exactly that. And then he boasted that he had meetings with the vice president, and the vice president told him that once they come back in government, he is going to be made commissioner. He boasts publicly from words from his own mouth. I understand the man that training school, campaigning, a police commissioner, campaigning. And I told you all about the use of the police Radio Ivleri, and the police social media page, 00 Nat James Bond license to Ligbati, is on the police social media page and Radio Ivleri campaigning for the incumbent. Y'all think it easy? How people going to respect these people? How can you? And the fact that the people at this meeting, or at least one, would have complained, they know it's wrong. They know it is wrong for the commissioner to go there and talk in politics, who they must vote for and all that. They know it's wrong. He know better. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to have his comment on that. See, me and you just hear the same things. Let me hear what you want to say.
I heard the same things, I remember I was the first trading officer, and I heard the same things that people complain to their parents, their grandparents, that the conform squatter tell them if they want a better life, they got to vote for the PPP. They got to vote for this current government. There's why I heard. And then remember he was politicking in the last election. He told me personally that Jack Dio said that the Granger government is a one-term government. And when the PPP win the election, they're going to make Hicken commissioner. And one of the first things that they do, remember he was in the interior monitoring the Venezuelans in Region 1, Region 8, Region 7, part of Region 2, and even Region 3. He was there under Felix administration. He was there monitoring them. And as soon as they win, they bring he as operations, the man in charge of operations of the Guyana Police Force. And then they give him an acting appointment. He passed the age of retirement. They extended it, and then they confirm him. So he's truly political. He's truly political. But shocking if you're going to try to play on the minds of recruits and telling them that if they want a better future, for a better future, they must vote PPPC. Unheard of, unprofessional, and I can't find words to describe it. But then there is the confirmed squatter. There is the report we're getting is that he told the recruits a couple of days ago that if they want a better life, they must vote for the PPPC.
Yeah. But if you have your own political thing, you're entitled to that. How can you use your office as a commissioner of police or any public servant to be doing that crap? How can you? How can you and talk about respectability and talk about rule of law and all this everything? It's look. Now the next matter I want to bring up here is that this came to attention too, right? Somebody writing to President Ali, let's talk about your ministers how they're abusing state resources, and the same Guyana political force throwing under the bus. It is alleged here that since the shooting, remember we talked about the shooting at in the street where Bishop Edgel lives? And when I said bishop, you got to find out if he's a religious bishop or a chessboard bishop. People complain bitterly. Since this shooting, and we have established the shooting had nothing to do with him. There was a party up the road, some youths in the party, one of the girls in the party, a youth, some young lady, 15, 16, came out. She was seen embracing with some man in a black Mercedes. I said, some boy in a black Mercedes. And when he drove off, it is alleged that he fired shots in the air from a firearm. I understand it's illegal. He got a legal firearm. Right? You gotta hear nothing more about that. They said they recovered 19 empty 9mm casings. You ain't hearing nothing about that. Right? They ain't hearing about this black Mercedes Benz. You ain't hearing nothing. But I understand that since that, the police have been instructed to increase the guards or the policemen who are working at Edgel's home. That is what it is said. Because the person say Bishop Edgel, a public, nobody was arrested. And the reason why, because the shooter is a known drug kingpin son, and you all don't arrest friends, family, and close associates. He requested additional police at his personal residence. That is what is being said. And then the people go on here to say, somebody go on, they say, they got police officers as the personal watchdog and using the Ministry of Public Works to negotiate back shots for road contracts. That is what the allegation. And then they go on for say some other things I am not going to repeat. But then they say something here that it was brought to my attention some time ago about the man at finance, Ashley Singh. Yeah, the same short little piece man, right? They say that he has his residence where police got a guard, and they're alleging that SWAT rank got a guard his residence, and he has some house someplace else, Ogle or somewhere there. No, he doesn't live there, but police have to guard that too. Police have to guard that too. How can these things be right? And they're the ones going to tell you the lack of resources and all of that. How can these things be right? All right, you're guarding the minister's house where he lives. But if you got an empty house someplace, or if you have a higher private security, why should police be guarding that? Why should police be guarding that? And I'm reminded about the one Cowan Street, Kingston. Another minister. He doesn't have facility in his yard for the police to guard. So what do? They put one, Christmas time, there's got this little huts and so on around the street. They put one on the outside the fence, outside of his fence. And that is where the police have to be when they're guarding that premises. No toilet facilities, no ablution facilities. So if you want to pee in the day, you have to go to there's a nearby taxi service there. Patrick, I think, taxi service. And beg to use the washroom. Or you got to go, the closest place is back to traffic headquarters. Well, if in the night, the man can bust a leak at the road corner. Or the nearest place, traffic headquarters. That is what is going on. That is the disrespect and the impasse the policemen are made to suffer. Right? Who can forget the story with the advisor to the minister, Gill? Gill, he went home and he saw the policeman sleeping there with an assault rifle. Take out the picture, put up. Well, I know he took out the picture, and the picture found its way on social media. Right? When you investigate, the man when the video was taken, the policeman had already completed, I think, about 18 hours straight on duty. 18 hours on duty. The man had completed. Then you learn that many of those people working at those places, 24 hours straight with an assault rifle, and they don't look into them welfare issues. How can that be? I used to be in charge of the TSU where most of the guards were dispatched from. And there's no way. If you don't have any rank to continue, you take them off and inform the residents, sorry, for this we don't have anybody to relieve this rank. We're going to take him off. And as soon as we get someone we can bring. But to have a policeman on duty with an assault rifle for all them hours. As a matter of fact, you should not be on duty armed for more than 4 hours. But 24 hours, I understand. 18, 20, 24 hours. They carry little food for them. The people complain. Sometimes they cook things like chow mein. Like then they spin around, and they reach to you. It's sour. And that is what you talk about welfare and all of these type of things. That is what they talk about. Unconscionable people. And no wonder the policemen are leaving the job in droves. Policemen walking off the work. Walking off. I understand soldiers too. They're staying around. The conditions are terrible. The pay. I remember, I think about a year or so back, when the government boasts about pay increase, and the constable's salary now had moved to I think $110,000 or something like that. Some in the area a month. A security company was advertising at the same time that they're starting people at 130. Security company was advertising. One of them same company aligned to them advertising at the same time, and they talk about. I see recently they announced 8% increase of public servant. All of these things are designed to buy votes. All of these things, and people are more sensible than that. I am sure people are more sensible. They're giving you is you money, you got to take it. Well, 8%. When you look at inflation, the rate of inflation, even recently, I think Guyana Marketing Corporation had to admit that food prices, at least thing, gone up by 75%. I read that somewhere and researched it and come. Gone up by 75%, and they tell you about 8% increase and all this everything. To public servants, 8% increase. And I understand people in the private sector, the ordinary people in the private sector, might be faring worse. That is what you have. Let me bring in CC to comment on that and be winding down. CC, your comments.
Yeah, the misuse of resources, the police resources, the squatter, confirmed squatter, complained bitterly that he get a difficulty use it to war in terms of recruiting and retaining persons. You heard the police leaving by the droves. And lo and behold, you find an additional manpower for agile. You're finding police guarding a house that the minister now live there. Perhaps a sweet woman was going there. So they got guard the sweet woman. Why they don't go to sheriff? Why they don't get a private security to look after the private affairs? Yeah? Misuse of manpower. Blatant misuse of the human resource. That's why things gotta go wrong. That's why things gotta go wrong, Paul. That there's total misuse of the human resource in the Guyana police force. That's why they haven't been able to recruit people and to retain persons as bemoaned by the conformed squatter.
Yes. And folks, you're winding down. They have other issues, but I don't think we have enough time. I don't want to shortchange you. I don't want to start something and left you halfway. I don't want to leave you halfway. Now, one of the things, let me come again. I saw a statement yesterday. You know, they get the CARICOM, it's a government thing. They say Ali Bucks, the Ali referring to President Ali Bucks, free movement progress. But say some member states need more time. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Rob Street road rage thing. I want to start it and then leave it enough. We're going to talk about, I said last night, the Attorney General trying to, well, you know, there was the incident that we showed you with the Tishau. Let me see if I can find it here. We showed you an incident with the Tishau assaulting a man. And there's another video circulating that he stamping on the, look at the short, very short. The man in the red is the show for this village. We're going to talk about it next with me. Right? Assaulting this man. Nanlal last evening on the program Issues in the Youth. There, I get the thing there. Basically saying that the law that you can't go into these villages without permission. And we're going to talk about it because we're going to read the Constitution again. And that is what he's saying. So basically what he's saying is that if you go into this village, as these supporters of Win are alleged to have done, they broke the law and they could be charged and all that. We are going to analyze that on a future program. The next program, most likely, we are going to analyze that. And then the road rage thing with the murder, because you know they want to get charged with murder, and a lot of questions are being asked. We are going to examine that too. We are going to ask that. But I want to leave you on one. I'm going to ask Mr. Conway to lead this one and to, at the same time, give his closing. What I'm referring to, what came to hand, I think, yesterday sometime, that a policeman who was charged, listen to this, policeman charged, sentenced, served his time, and still a police. Nice, eh? Charged for some offense, sentenced, served his time, still a police. Not only that, while he was serving his time, his salaries were paid into the bank account, and his wife was withdrawing the money. See, let me hear you on this thing, man. I'm sure we discussed this. Let me hear you.
I say all the time that something is radically wrong with region number 3. And this one we're talking about is a policeman at Wales. I call him the Sanana name. He was charged in relation to a traffic violation. I don't know if he pleaded guilty or the magistrate found him guilty, but he is ordered to pay compensation to the victim. He didn't pay it, and the magistrate sentenced him to 9 months imprisonment, like a lot of 9 months passing wrong. 9 months imprisonment. He served the 9 months. He wasn't dismissed. For the matter when he was charged for the traffic offense, I can't remember what the thing, he wasn't interdicted. He served his time, and then when he came out, turned up at police headquarters, want to know what is his status. Lo and behold, they told me, hey, when they do check, they discover for the 9 months that he was in prison, his salary used to go through his bank account. And they say his wife drew the money. And they tell him that he got to pay back the money. He has not been dismissed. He's still a member of the force. Served 9 months. Apparently no report from Region 3 put up. Apparently they no longer look at interdiction duty or persons who were charged and before the court. Apparently they don't want to do. Well, here's it. 9 months in prison. He served his time and get paid for the 9 months. And they're telling you now that you got to pay back the money that your wife drew whilst you were in prison. Where are the checks and balances? What happened to the human resource people? What happened to region number 3? I've been talking about region number 3. So much things happening, and let me repeat some of the things that happened there. A policeman rape a juvenile at Parfait Harmony. We had a man die in a lockup, you see, handcuff there. Nothing. We got police vehicle driving, chasing down another man. He struck down somebody and died. Nothing. We got one recently where a policeman, understand, a police couple took home a gun from Parfait Avenue, get shot in his stomach. He had to undergo surgery so that they can recover the bullet. We had a recent one in Wales where they shoot somebody there. We had a case where a sergeant from Wales from Vino police station fingered in break and enter and larceny. We had a case recently where they assaulted two juveniles with batons, and they were female police sergeant hoping to provide the cause of justice to pay money on behalf of the police to the victims. So something is going wrong with region number 3. And at that, How come for a policeman to serve 9 months in prison, and during that 9 months he get his salary, he ain't dismissed. He still, I know by yesterday to now that they dismiss him. And there's what the incompetence and corruption taking place in the police force. We ain't get time, but the position with Majo, with Monkey Mountain, K2, Orange Duke, I had to send across a little bit ration to the men in the area there. But more about that on a subsequent episode.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. And I gotta play this one. I'm gonna keep playing this.
Corruption is a vile disease that sucks and drains the health out of something good. Corruption in society is an evil moral infection that keeps community in a state of perpetual sickness. Corruption is a moral virus. It's so potent it leaves its host sick, lethargic, and unable to realize and accomplish all that a well person can. Where corruption thrives, poverty and not prosperity thrives. Wealth is grabbed into the greedy, grubby hands of those who get fat on the toil and labor of good people. Corruption benefits, only temporarily, those who participate in it. Everyone else is a victim of the theft, the deceit, the dishonesty, and the lies that corruption feeds on. You need to know that a corrupt person is stealing from you. Corruption is filthy work and despicable acts of treachery done under the table and behind closed doors. Corruption is a disgusting shame. Corruption keeps a nation back from true development and from progress. Wise investors steer clear of a corrupt environment. They would rather put their resources into a place where the playing field of opportunity is equal for all and not bent towards feeding the financial lust of corrupt, lying, cheating, thieving politicians and government officials. How many wonderful development projects have been lost because the investors didn't want to do business in a swamp of evil? When those great projects go to another nation or to some other place, we all lose. Believe me when I tell you that corruption steals from you, it steals from all of us. Corruption plunders the nation's wealth. Corrupt people compromise on truth, equity, and fairness, choosing instead to feed off the short-term benefits of crookedness, exploitation, and financial perversion. Corruption is not just a personal matter. It's a culture. It's a way of life, not just for individual people, but for companies, communities, governments, and nations. Corrupt nations, hiding behind large companies, will seek to invest in other weak nations in order to take over the assets of the nation that they've invested into. They will provide financial loans to a nation for the much needed infrastructure, and they will do it with assets that they provide. They will sign contracts by lining the pockets of rotten government officials who participate in this kind of corruption and are then held hostage by their own deceit and greed. Corruption is nothing less than a form of theft and national robbery. A corrupt person steals from everyone in society. We all lose when corruption is rampant. Those who participate in corruption have chosen evil over good, lies over truth, and personal gain over well-being of all. To be corrupt means to be rotten. When meat is corrupt, it's rotten, and it stinks. Rotten meat can't be eaten. When a person is corrupt, he's rotten and unfit for a place in the community. A corrupt person should be jailed in order to protect society from the vile deeds of the corrupt person. Government should be protecting us from the foul results of corruption instead of being the proponents and participants in corruption. When corruption is systemic, when it's a culture and a way of life, when corruption thrives, it destroys the health of the community and nation. Now let me tell you something. Defeating corruption is a very difficult thing. The love of money is the root of all evil, the Bible says. People who love money will do almost anything to get it. Those who choose to stand up against corruption, you need to know that we're going to be involved in a war. We will be threatened, vilified, intimidated, marginalized, and ridiculed. These kind of people who stand up against corruption will often feel alone, as if they are the problem instead of the solution. Corruption can only be defeated when enough people have had enough and decide to do something about it.
Yes, that is so true. Corruption. Just look around you in Guyana, corruption. And let me give you your therapy, you got to get that.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
Yeah, he's a friend of ours. And I invite you students to read the Starbuck editorial yesterday. I published an excerpt on my pages. Read it about the same corruption, the same Sugate matter. Nothing. No investigation. These people talking about transparency. No investigation. They talk about transparency, accountability. The most damning allegation leveled against the vice president. Them investigate. And talking about investigation, I noted this morning, somebody commented in here, just before I came online, that the U.S. is supposed to be supporting security for the upcoming general elections. We're going to talk about it when we next meet. The United States of America will be supporting the security apparatus. And based on what is being said, not only financial support, but it looks like we'll get boots on the ground because the ambassador is reported as saying law enforcement agents from Las Vegas and Miami-Dade are tipped to arrive in Guyana. Law enforcement agents from Las Vegas, Nevada, and Miami-Dade, that is part of Florida, are tipped to arrive in Guyana. So you can get boots on the ground from the U.S. You can't get boots on the ground to investigate Sue allegation that the vice president takes $500,000 from Chinese. Sue is the middleman for the contract. You can't get FBI or U.S. assistance to investigate Adriana Young's murder, right? Somebody still gone blank. All right, you can't get that. You can't get those things, but according to what is being reported in Demerara Wave this morning at 10:29, they're reporting that the Madam Ambassador is saying that law enforcement agents from Las Vegas and Miami-Dade are tipped to arrive in Guyana. Interesting times. Interesting times. Can I investigate? The same ambassador had made it clear that all the government of Guyana had to do was to make a request for assistance in the Adriana Young's murder. And we were given the impression that that request would be fulfilled. Government didn't make no request. They haven't made. This one said the commissioner making the request. Interesting. Comrade, we ain't get time today. I said I don't want to leave you in the half. I'm not that type of person to get you all excited and then to leave you high and dry. So when we come again, we due to come God's Spirit Live on Friday for the Friday afternoon's edition of Speaking Out. We have a lot of stuff to tell you about. We have a lot of stuff to tell you about. So therefore, stay tuned. Stay tuned. We have a lot to tell you. And I say, again, Guyana is a dangerous place. A student just called me or just texted me a while ago, right? COVID. So a few days ago, he said he believed he had a symptom, some new strain going around. Texted me a while ago to say, well, he tested. COVID is ravaging him, and I wish him a full, speedy recovery. And I say to you, be extremely, extremely careful. The roads are dangerous, road rage and all of that. We're going to talk about the road rage stuff next. All kind of crazy madness going on. Accidents. I saw one with a police vehicle. We're going to show that. And then they're ghosting the figures. We have a lot to talk about. So, folks, thanks for your attendance. We had a great attendance today. And, we don't take this thing for granted, because we know you could have been doing other stuff. And if you're doing other stuff, the fact that you took time to listen to us, we are very appreciative of that. And therefore, we say to you, stay well, do your best. Make sure in this silly season, election season that we call silly season, you're aware of what is going on, aware of your surroundings. People come in, all kind of thing they're going to do. And I want to ask again, what is the position with Kevin Larrimore? We got to keep asking, because as of 11 o'clock this morning, not 11, sorry, 12 o'clock, he was not in prison yet, even though there is a commitment warrant which was executed Monday afternoon. That means he was arrested by the police and should have been taken to the Louisiana prison yesterday morning. I understand that the powers that be have intervened because he's a PPP activist in Region 10. They intervened, and he has not up to that time been taken to the Louisiana prison. What can be keeping him? What can prevent the police from taking him there? What apart from corruption? That's the only thing. So, folks, we had a good morning. I invite you again to stay safe until we meet on Friday, God's willing, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Stay well. Bye.